Coming up on Oakdale Update, Summerfest is just around the corner. We'll tell you what's on tap for the annual event. Plus, we'll preview some upcoming events taking place in the city. Stay tuned, Oakdale Update is straight ahead. Hello and welcome to Oakdale Update. I'm your host, Frank Orsello. This is the City of Oakdale's news and information program about your community. I'm now joined by Oakdale's Parks Superintendent and Summerfest Committee Chair, Jeff Kausling, and Oakdale's Communications Specialist and Summerfest Committee Member, Alyssa McLeod. Both of you, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, Frank.
Oh, it's good to have you here. We're going to go right to the top, talk to you people that have been on this committee, and we got a lot to talk about today. So we'll get started here. So first of all, Jeff, tell us about yourself. Give us your background.
I've been with the city since 2001, so just over 20 years, going on 21 years. Prior to that, graduated from North High in '83 and worked for the county and a couple other cities and got on with Oakdale, loved it. Since I've been there.
So you started out as a maintenance man kind of guy?
Yep, I was on Parks, on Public Works, and I've been with the Parks Division ever since I've been there. So.
Is that right?
Yep, Randy was my supervisor, and then he retired in 2013, and I got promoted up to his position, and I've been in that position since then, and been involved with Summerfest for 20 years. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and Alyssa, you tell me about yourself.
Sure, I've been with the city for about 4 years now, coming up on 4 years. I started with the city as their first ever communications specialist. And then I've been involved with planning the Summerfest event on the committee with the rest of the crew since I started.
Okay, so what exactly is your job? You're a communications specialist. What does that mean?
So I'm basically managing all of the social media channels, the website, the city newsletter, any way that the city communicates with its residents, with our residents. I manage all of those channels.
This is a new position, is it not?
It is a new position. It was new when I started.
So you took over from nothing, right? You
Correct.
put it together?
Yeah.
Good for you. And I understand you're doing a very fine job.
Well, thank you.
That's what I hear. You couldn't very well say that because that would not sound right, would it?
She does a great job.
I like
she does
to think
a great
that,
job.
yeah.
No,
Thank you.
You do a
Thank
good.
you.
I mean, I'm kidding. You do a good job. We all know that. Okay, so Jeff, give us as much history. Go back as far as you can on the history of the Summerfest.
So I know it originally started in 1983, I believe. Ted Berth and Randy Bastier were big drivers of it, the Lions Club. Mm-hmm. They've been involved. They've sort of built it up to what it's evolved to be. So, and then since I've been involved with it, it's always been at Walton Park, next to City Hall there. So it always started on Thursdays with the parade, and then we'd have bands after that, and then Friday would be music and carnival, and just through the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and other events. I know they've thrown in there. There's been 5Ks and medallion hunts that Larry Eberhard does a great job of putting that together. So yeah, it's just been more the maintenance part of it, side of it, just making sure everything stays picked up and neighborhoods and streets.
So how do you work that? You're supervisor of parks. So how do you when you're during the Summerfest, are you taking care of the cleanup and all that too?
Yeah. So we have crews from all of our divisions. So we have 4 divisions: streets, parks, and then we have forestry and water utilities. Mm-hmm. So everybody, we just have a sheet. Everybody signs up and pitches in. It's our busiest week,
I'm sure.
of the year. And so we just make sure we have staff on throughout the whole thing, and we have fields to prep and drag down. They usually do the adult softball tournament down. They used to do the youth. just got too hectic with parking, and so they sort of stepped aside on that. So they still do the adult. So I have crews down there dragging and prepping fields during that all day through the night. Then we keep the grounds picked up, and then we come in early in the morning, 6 a.m., and make sure all the surrounding neighborhoods, make sure all the grounds there are all cleaned up and ready for another day. So they do a phenomenal job. It's
Absolutely. No,
people
no
can
question.
look at us, but it's the crews that make it successful. It really
So how many
is.
crewmen do you have about?
That are involved in it?
Yes.
It's up to 20, almost 30 people. So at any given time, we probably have 8 to 10 on duty or on staff for
Okay.
it.
So is this a regular job then? I mean, this
Well,
is,
it's so we work a regular day. 7 to 3:30 is our regular day, and then after 3:30, they're staffed till midnight. So and then we're back in at 6 a.m. the next morning to
Wow.
clean. So yeah, we still have to take care of our daily stuff. Any work orders or anything throughout the city, they still have our regular stuff to take care of. So yeah.
So I threw a piece of information at you that I'm old enough to remember when the first Summerfest happened,
Yeah.
and it was in the field behind where the fun factory is.
Sure,
Or well, actually, where all that was all open field
Yep.
at the time, and that was where the first Summerfest
Wow.
was held.
Yeah.
And a big vacant grass. I mean, it was just a vacant lot.
Sure.
And they started it there.
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. Till
Yep,
you shared
yep.
that. So
And I can't remember how many years that was, but and Ted Berth, I do believe, was involved in it even
Yeah,
back then,
yeah,
as you can imagine.
like I said, he was a huge driver of this whole thing and creator. Him and I know Randy's been heavily involved in the Lions Club, and we've tried to sort of carry that on, and keep it successful. So it's been tough. The last year's been tough, struggling trying
Oh
to plan
God,
it,
yeah,
but
and we'll get into that a little bit later too. So speaking of,
Yeah.
last year it was canceled.
Yes.
So tell us why and what, and fill us in.
Sure. Well, last year, much like most of the community events across the Twin Cities and state and world, really, we had to make the hard and difficult decision to cancel Summerfest. It just, with the state that we were in our community, both with the COVID, the pandemic, and then also with the civil unrest that was going on during that time, we had to make the decision to cancel the event. Like I said, much like many of the other community events. So this year, we're glad to be able to bring it back.
Okay, we'll go over what's going to be different or better. So so you two have been meeting for how long? How long and how many meetings to get this year's going?
Long time.
You
Yeah.
must just be tired of each other.
We've
I'm
been-
almost. So how many meetings do you reckon you've been going to?
How many meetings? Well, we started initially meeting back in fall, early fall, and then we meet once a month. And then when we got to the start of the year, we were meeting a little bit more frequently, and now we're meeting every week almost.
Every
couple
around
of weeks.
about every week.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into planning an event in a typical year, but we are still, in the pandemic, we're still in that and dealing with some of the restrictions that are imposed because of it. So while we are planning this year's event, it does take some extra planning and consideration to ensure that we're able to meet the guidelines that are existing, the state guidelines for large events, and also, pull off a safe event. That's our main priority.
So how many people are on your committee?
There's about 10
All of that.
Really?
people.
That many? Oh my goodness. So can you name some of them? A couple of the people there? I'm assuming they're movers and shakers in the community here, huh?
Pam Jungman, she's
Yeah.
been in charge of the entertainment, the bands. She does a phenomenal job getting that lined up every year. Jim Romanak, street superintendent's involved in it on the maintenance side of it. We've got
people from our recreation department,
Yep,
people
Julie.
from our police department, and like Jeff has said with Public Works, then we have a couple members from the community also that, we like to get everyone involved that has a part in the event so we can coordinate efforts and plan accordingly.
it's good to have all the different ideas and input. So we just have to be open to that.
You have to do that. You have to do that.
Yep.
So now there were a lot of changes this year. There is going to be some changes this year. So you want to start with that and tell us let's start with what's been eliminated from last year.
Sure.
Or not from last year, the year before. when things were
Sure.
normal.
Yeah, from
Okay.
the normal year. Well, first of all, the biggest change is we've gone from a 4-day event to a 2-day. We're scaling back a little bit this year. Like I said, we're
Wait a
still.
minute, 4 days? So what was it?
Well, we used to
Thursday?
start Thursday night,
Thursday,
and it
that's
would
right.
run through Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
This year, we've scaled back a bit to have it Friday night and Saturday throughout the entire
Friday
day.
night, not Friday day at all? Well, isn't the parade, is the parade on Friday?
We are not having the parade this year.
Get out of here.
Yep. With the restrictions, health and safety restrictions that are still in place and guidelines with social distancing and everything, there was just no way that we would be able to safely pull off a parade at this
That's
point.
the biggest part of the whole parade, as far as I'm concerned. But what do I know? So this is not a permanent thing, hopefully, correct?
Not a permanent thing, no, just for this year.
Oh, that's our.
So
that's-
it will be back, just not this summer.
Be patient.
Yeah.
Everybody's tired of being patient.
I'm sure. Okay, so what else has been eliminated then?
So we also are not having the carnival this year.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
What's the reason on that?
It's another, it's another thing that we can't have it safely with the restrictions and gathering spaces and with the amount of people. It wasn't something that we'd be able to pull off safely and be confident with. So we are looking at replacing it with some other activities that will
Really?
be family focused. Some kids activities for children, yet to be determined. We're still working those details out. We're looking at having a small art/vendor fair to involve our local arts and crafts community, so people who are attending can shop local. Those are the two additions that we'll be adding in place of those other activities. And then the rest is pretty much close to the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, so that's what's been eliminated. What's been added this year? Or hasn't anything yet?
Well, the two that I mentioned were what we've added in place.
Say it again, what were
So
they?
we'll have an art/vendor fair that involves local arts and crafters that live in the community. And then we will add some additional children's activities that we traditionally didn't have.
So are the food vendors going to be there?
That is a bit of a change. We are shifting more to a food truck type situation with the food.
Food trucks?
Yeah.
I mean, several, I'm sure.
Yes, and because we were able, or since we have decided not to do the carnival this year, that opened up that space so that we can bring food trucks in. It wasn't, we didn't have that possibility before, based on the space that we have. But now that we have that parking lot open, we are able to bring in food trucks, and we've heard from the community that that's a big draw, that people enjoy food truck events. So that is another shift. We will likely have some of our long-standing food vendors that have been there for years
The
come
beer
back.
garden, that's going to be there?
As far as I know right now, yes,
Okay.
they are going to move forward with that. The Lions
Okay.
Club is. Yep.
Okay. So all these are going to be food trucks rather than people on site cooking the meals and cooking stuff and all that, huh?
The majority of them will be food trucks.
Okay.
So I had invited 6 or 7 vendors that have been pretty much involved with Summerfest. I wanted to be loyal to them. So unknown if I have not heard if they will be attending, but there was a handful of them. I'd like to still have them involved in it. So just to give them that opportunity and to be thankful because they've made us successful in the previous years. So I didn't feel right about just shutting them out of it. So yeah, the food truck thing
Are
is-
those local people usually?
Yep. Yes.
They are.
Yep.
Okay. So I seem like when we have the farmers market, there seems to be a few food trucks there. So they were invited, I'm sure, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So so what else? Okay. So what stayed the same this year? What is still there that was?
Music.
We're still going to have the music.
The music, yes.
We'll have 2 bands on Friday night. We'll have 2 bands on Saturday. One in the afternoon, and then we'll bring back Rockin' Hollywoods in the evening, which is
they've
a
been around
popular
since
band.
ever.
Yeah.
Right?
They are.
They've
They're as
been-
old
they've-
as you, Frank.
Oh my God.
They've been involved with Summerfest for a long time,
Yes,
so
they
it's
have.
it's good to have them back as well.
They have a thing for the Summerfest, don't they? I mean, aren't they attached to it?
Well, I can't speak for them, but
Well, they are. I
They
mean,
are, aren't
as
they?
far as I think they have a great following, and it's we always. I mean, they bring in a lot of people for it, so
Yes.
if it's not broke, why fix it?
That's
and,
right.
And people enjoy it. They play the wide variety of music, and I think it's great to have them there. So
Absolutely.
they've been loyal to us, and Pam's done a good job of keeping them there every year. So
So who else, what other entertainment do you have? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I do have a list of the bands, yes. So
Go
we
ahead.
will be having, I had to write them down. So on Friday night, we're going to have the Farmer's Daughters, followed by World According to Garth. And both of those bands are more of a country-focused cover band.
I've seen the Farmers down
Have
there. It's
you?
up in Alexandria. They're very good.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
So covers and originals. And then on Saturday, we have Buffalo Alice in the afternoon. And then, as I mentioned, Rockin' Hollywoods will be coming back in the evening right before the fireworks.
That's Friday night now? No.
That'll
Friday.
be Saturday.
Saturday night, okay. All right. And then I have to mention Larry Eberhardt's medallion. That's going to
Yep.
be
The
happening
medallion
again.
hunt will be happening throughout the weekend. We'll have more details on when those clues will start to be announced once we get closer to the event. We are maintaining the Summerfest 5K on Saturday morning.
Oh, yeah.
That will still happen. And we have the third layer skate competition on Friday
At the skateboard
afternoon
park.
as well.
Oh, the skateboard, yeah. So you're going to have that. You're going to have the 5K, huh?
Yep.
That's always good. You get a good turnout for that too, don't you?
I think
pretty
they
much?
fill
Yeah,
it.
they fill it.
Yeah.
And this year they will be having, you need to pre-register and they're make sure that they can space people appropriately. So I'm assuming that the numbers for registrations may be limited where maybe in the past they haven't. So I fully anticipate that it will fill up.
Okay. So that is. Did we go over Friday night? All the stuff happening on Friday night or Friday day too? And nothing on this.
Nothing
the
happening.
afternoon,
Yeah.
Okay, you're really curtailing the hours. I mean, if you only start at what time? 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon? 3, 4 o'clock, something like that? And, okay, so the food vendors will be out, all set up and everything. Okay, do you, the rides and all that, was that a pretty good attraction for over the past years?
Well, we did do a community survey back in 2019, fairly recently, and we did include some questions on Summerfest, and we asked about, what are the most popular or desired attractions at Summerfest. The carnival did rank lower on the event. What people liked the most were the fireworks, the food, the music. So according to that survey, it wasn't one of the out of the events that we offer with Summerfest, it wasn't one of the most popular
rides, you're saying,
attractions.
those rides, huh?
Correct, yeah.
I'll be darned. So did you had to go talk to these people and tell them that you weren't taking them in this year?
I had to, yeah.
You had to do that? Okay.
And they're very understandable because I think it's not just us. It's just with the social distancing and trying to control those crowds. And I think I feel bad for them because that's their business,
Yeah.
So I guess it's like running a cruise ship or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
It's just the times we're in right now. So we just decided that it wouldn't be a good year to try that. So if we had to eliminate it, and like Alyssa said, they did the survey, and and I think it worked out good as far as this year. As we couldn't do the parade
Right.
because we couldn't control the crowds.
Right.
You can't keep the social distancing. So it would be that way with the rides too.
Yeah,
So
just too difficult.
it's sort of
to-
playing
You know,
in their favor.
that parade has got to be just the #1 attraction, isn't it?
It's a
Yeah,
great
it's-
parade.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Laura Linsmeyer puts a lot of time, plans it,
Yeah.
does it well. I know Julie and a lot of people put a lot of time into that. So it is. It's the stamp of the event, really.
It is.
Kicks it off. But,
Absolutely.
it'll be back. We'll get it back.
Now, that's
and-
good to hear. I'd
Yes,
like to hear
it'll
that.
be back. It's not gone. It's just this year, and
yeah.
hopefully next year we can all be back to normal and more of what we are now. It's heading that way, so it's good. So it's definitely not something we're doing away with. At least I wouldn't want to see that.
No,
But,
for gosh.
yeah.
No, you
Yep.
don't want to do that. And that's another one. I can remember when that first started. I mean, it was such a trip because, I mean, nobody knew what was going on. It was as well organized as you could be, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's
a learning process.
It was a learning process. There were so many people trying to get in, and so many, and
Yep.
the parade lasted for 3 hours, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Way too long. But they cut it down, and they only let so many people in.
Fine-tuned it, and over the years, Frank, it's Summerfest really for us. year after year, it's easy to pull off. It's the weather was our number one enemy. As it seemed like it rained 6 inches every day, that week. So you'd always battle that. And then the weather, if it wasn't raining, it was super hot. But over the years, we've fine-tuned this thing where it's really pretty easy setting up and we just knew. And then along comes the COVID situation. That's been our struggle now, is trying to deal what we can do, what we can't do, and do it safely. So, but we'll get there. We'll get it back.
Again, when you think that this thing started from scratch, I mean, really, it was from scratch. Nobody knew anything who knew how to run a parade or anything else, right? So you guys.
There's been a lot of people involved in that, so they've really made it. Like I say, it starts back with Randy and Ted, and who knows who else. It was before my time there, but they did a great job building that up, and they made it easy for us. They're the ones who did all the work. So
they did the legwork.
Yes,
they did the legwork, and you just fine-tuned it. Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we got on Saturday. What's happening on Saturday? You want to?
So Saturday morning starts with the 5K in the morning.
Yes.
I believe it starts at 8:30, or that's when they start doing check-in. And then noon is when we will start the activities at Walton Park. So we'll have food trucks available, we'll have the art fair with the vendors, and we'll have the kids' activities with music happening at that time. And then in the evening, 5 o'clock, will still be food there. And then I think the Rockin' Hollywood start at 7 o'clock. Okay. 7, right?
Yep.
And these are free concerts too, aren't they?
Free concerts,
Absolutely,
yes.
Yep.
And then, of course, Saturday night will be the fireworks.
Yeah, 10 p.m.
Okay, so do you think people will still be there up until the fireworks, or?
Yeah, I hope so.
Because, I mean, everything's going to still be open and all that? The
Right.
food vendors
Yeah.
will all be there?
The art vendors will just be there in the afternoon. So then the evening the entertainment for the evening will be food and music.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the art vendors, are they going to be sheltered at all? I mean, you got a pavilion, or where
They'll have, if they want to set up
They
a
have
10 by 10 tent or whatever they have.
So it's up to them? They're able
it's
to
whatever their setup is. They'll have a certain area they set up in. And
do they have to get a permit, and are they going to be permitted?
I don't, food vendors have to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
The art and crafts people or whatever it is, we just have to know how many are coming so we can prep sites for them. And we don't want to have too many, because we got the area there for them. But yeah, it should go off pretty well. So.
Okay, so then the big finale is the fireworks.
Yeah.
They are the best fireworks around. And there's another one. I drive by there, to try and get a seat, and it's just jammed with people. Now, how are you doing on the parking and that? That's always been a problem.
Parking's always an issue.
Yeah.
You have the surrounding neighborhoods. I understand. That's your home, and actually it's very well controlled. Jim and his crew, Romanak, the street superintendent, works pretty close with the police department. They're phenomenal. They post off the areas, no parking on one side of the street, so we don't run into the issue where you can't get a medic rig through there, or a fire engine, or the police have to access it too. So I know when we used to have it at Tanner's, it was so full there they couldn't get an engine in there. It was actually dangerous.
It was dangerous.
And so that it's. And we try to go through the neighborhoods, clean everything up, keep it clean, because we don't want it. The one drawback on the parade is people don't like having to sit there if they're stuck in the parking lot for 45 minutes to an hour, but I'll tell you why we do that. And the one year, they used to clean it in the morning. We would come in early Friday morning, and it rained, and we had a pretty severe thunderstorm, and we had debris over everybody's yard from 15th and Hadley down to 120.
Wow.
And we spent a week cleaning yards, so it's better for us to clean it right after the parade. We have the sweepers, crews go through, 45 minutes, it's done. We just don't want to upset the residents again, and it sort of stinks for them to sit and wait to get out of lots or whatever, but that's the process, that's why we do that. So, but yeah, we've got it fine-tuned, and we'll get it back to that. And
So if anybody is interested in getting any more background, go to the city's website, correct?
Yep. If you go to the city's website, and then the first tab is Our Community, there's a link to the Summerfest page there, and details will be posted on that site.
how do you know that?
The one question I have is, because there are so many people there, parking is so atrocious. Did you ever think of having a parking lot,
Yes,
and then buses?
What's sort of nice this year, Frank, and we're going to find out a little bit, is where the fair, which took that whole north lot, just north of City Hall. So half of that will be open on, for parking. And we've used before where we parked them down just to the north of there in the grass. The problem we ran into there when it would rain, like I said,
Yeah.
it seemed like every year it rained,
Yeah.
it would just tear that whole area up and cars in and out. And but it is a struggle. I know we park them along Hadley, just to the south of 15th on the boulevards there. We've allowed them to park there, and we'll make it work. It's just be patient, come and enjoy it. It's hopefully after last year with nothing, we need the people to come out, and it's for the community. So
anything's going to be an improvement compared to last year, isn't it?
absolutely. We're trying to make it that way.
Oh, you guys-
We've had good support from the council and
Oh,
other
great.
city staff. They've been great about it. So
That just is Oakdale. It's a
it's a great place.
good place to be, isn't it?
is. I'm lucky
It's
to be
just
there.
Great. You are, and you've been here what, 22 years?
Yeah,
23?
going on 21.
Okay.
Just over
Now we're
21.
looking for you to be here for another.
Yep,
50.
I've got a ways to go to catch up to Jeff, but
Okay, you guys, we're out of time, and I want to thank you so much, and I wish you luck.
Thank
The
you.
worst thing that can happen is rain. Is that correct?
We'll deal with it, Frank.
yeah.
We can't control it, right? We'll
The
deal with it.
worst thing that can happen is rain. Oh, we don't want that. But other than that, everything is hopefully is going to go well. It's going to be a scaled down version, but doggone it, next year is going to be bigger
Yeah, be
and
better.
better. Okay, thank you so much for all your
Thank you.
time.
Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
me.
You bet. That's all we have time for on this month's Oakdale Update. We leave you with a list of events taking place in the city. For everyone at the City of Oakdale, thanks for watching.